The Guest and His Hosts, Act 1.
Our story begins deep within the northern moors, high atop a chalky hill, where only heather grows, and the starry sky is ink black, unlit by the lights of city lamps. The home of eccentric ex-banker Mr. Beckett is sat squat atop this hill. Its weathered sandstone face is unmoving as it watches the odd rare visitors come and go.
This is a story of intrigue and devilish character. If you are listening, then curiosity's got the better of you. The Guest and His Hosts is performed by various Smiths and written by Sir Michael Oron.
Word, it almost looks like a different room.
It's always a pleasure delivering our finest furniture to prestigious patrons such as yourself, Mr. Beckett.
It's a smashing job, Fletcher. Smashing.
Thank you. That's very kind.
No, thank you. Thank you for coming on such short notice. I know it's hard getting up here.
Yes, indeed. More twists and turns than a rabbit's warren.
Yes.
As I mentioned in our earlier correspondence, Mr. Rowlands and I were glad for the custom. These are dark and troubled times.
One can only imagine. And at this time of the year, it must be a particularly acute ponderance. Family takes priority, eh, Fletcher?
Of course, of course. I have been plagued by sleepless nights for some time now, making this commission irrefusable. My wife was so insistent.
Oh, yes. The old ball and chain will be so. But I worry. The journey ahead is difficult. Difficult enough during the day. But as the sun sets to the west and the mist gathers from the moors, the path becomes ever more pregnant with danger. So tell me, Fletcher, how will you get home?
My God! The choice is immutable. The time, Mr. Beckett! The time! I must leave with haste! With haste!
Godspeed, Fletcher!
Avant, Bella! Time is short. The night draws in. Total darkness will soon be upon us. This accursed wind is unceasing. Yah! Yah!
And so, with uncharacteristic speed and urgency, Fletcher leapt into the carriage. Casting aside his usual timidity, he gave his trusted mare Bella 3 sharp shows of his whip. Into the night they charged with such haste that the surrounding heath blurred into a smear of deep purple, and as the fog grew thicker, it threw his cloak across Fletcher's peripheral vision, closing around him, suffocating him with its wet humidity.
Bella! Pray thee! Why have we stopped? We must keep moving! It's not safe on these moors. A storm! It's breaking! Yeah!
But Bella would not move, for ahead of the 2 travellers was a fork in the road.
Damn this torment!
The fork had 2 paths, one wide and clear, twisting down the hill through the woods, and one presumed towards London. The other was narrower and cut straight across the hill face, following the crest of the chalk ridge. It looked well worn, but stony and potholed. Try as he might, Fletcher could not remember which road had taken him to Mr. Beckett's home. He looked back towards the great house. A dim light winked at him from a distance, then flickered out. A strange sensation crept over Fletcher, as if he were being watched. Summoning his courage and eager to move onward, he chose his path.
I shall take the Roman road. It's wide and radiant, and more abiding terrain. Come now, Bella, down the hill, back to London! Yeah! Get it together, Fletcher. You're a gentleman. Be sure of foot, Bella. Hold stride. Ground! It shifts! You've led us into a bog! You infernal horse!
They had stumbled into a bog. Fletcher tried desperately to keep his head above the foul water. The more he struggled, the tighter the bog's embrace became. Gasping, he reached for the water's surface. Bella's feet touched solid ground, and dragging Fletcher behind her, she started to pull herself out of the bog. As she was doing so, a glimmer of lamplight caught Fletcher's eye from across the water. It was held aloft by a shadowy figure.
You there, skulking in the shadows! Don't just stand there! Save me!
Just for a second, lightning illuminated the scene. Fletcher could make out a hunched figure, a yellow rainmac. Another peal of thunder sounded, and Bella stumbled out, up onto the bank.
Ye gods, I was a hair's whisper from drowning, and saved by a damn horse. Where is that man? What kind of nefarious character would a man drown in a bog? Come out! Show yourself! Come out here!
But the man had vanished. Fletcher shivered and retched with cold and fright. He had no other choice. He must retrace his steps and take the other fork in the road. Maybe he could find some shelter in the harsh and uninviting landscape to wait out the storm. His heart froze at the thought of spending all night alone upon the moor.
The Guest and His Hosts, Act 2.
The house is still. A gentle wind whispers lies, unwelcome by beams and boards. These the sentinels, holding our permanence together. As the sun scratches against the fog and the mist, its unavailing attempts to stretch out and find us are mocked by the unscrutable nature of the moors. We are lost to this world, sequestered from sight. But what of those who are not looking? An ineluctable and lamentable occurrence, guided by the lugubrious circumstances of misfortune. What of they who discover our very still home?
The storm had broken Fletcher like a man breaks a horse. He was in its thrall, his fate, now the storm's whim. Fletcher was no fool. He knew that if he remained uncovered and unfed, he would not see another day. At this stage in our story, we must note that Fletcher was a proud man, with business, wife, and child. But here he was, slumped astride a spent horse, drenched, head to toe in putrid bog water, lost, retracing his steps, far, far from
All we need to do, Bella, is go back whence we came. Soon we'll be back in London. Back to Gladys and young Humphrey. Young Humphrey who knows all the capital cities of the British Empire. And soon the Bay will be here. That's what we must think of. That is how we will make it home.
Bella!
The storm startled Bella and forced her from the path and into the bracken. Bella reared, cold and frightened, rushing deeper into the forest. Fletcher pulled hard on the reins, but Bella would not let up. As the woods became thicker, the trees close together, Fletcher was beaten by branch and bark. Soon Fletcher was flung to the cold, hard ground. Pulling his torso up in the freezing mud, Fletcher could see in the distance the warm light of a hearth, a haven. His heart quickened.
Evening, Mr. Rowlands.
Ah, Fletcher. Good news, my dear boy.
Yes?
I've just received a letter from our client in Ronnock Mall. We got the job.
Oh, thank goodness.
We've hooked him. Ha ha!
Wonderful news. Truth be told, I wondered if we'd get any more commissions this winter.
I trust you'll leave immediately.
I will be leaving first thing tomorrow.
Cheeky bugger.
First, I must tell the wife the good news.
Send her my regards.
A pleasure, sir. If you choose to dine with Mr. Walpole tonight, we'll be serving broiled venison with sour pips and salad fingers. Sir? Yes, sir. No, sir. I do, sir. Blackwater, sir. A correspondence came from Lady Marsh, sir. Fire! Fire! Run! Fletcher, run! The lady, she's trapped. Aye, sir. Most amusing, sir. Ha ha ha! Ha 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 ha! Do you think I'm funny? Do you think I'm a clown? Ah!